Now, when you turned 40, you decided to link up with a number of people that you've met throughout your time working in the education, space, and you looked at combining both your physical education work and your engagement in sport to create a volunteer children's sporting charity called Footys for All. Now, this has been running since 2012, and currently you've had around 27,000 participants, majority of which have come from, remote indigenous communities, Western Australia, Queensland, the Northern Territory, and essentially you've been running these clinics and providing them with a complementary football. Can you tell us a little bit about this Footys for All initiative and how effective it's been in the community, but also for you personally? How's that been?
Yeah, as you said, I turned 40, had a midlife crisis. Most people buy a Ferrari, and I think my wife would wish I had her rather than starting a charity. No, she's and again, the reason you're able to do anything in life at an elite level or people say extreme or crazy level that I'm involved in is due to the amazing team around you. And I've been very blessed to have the most amazing wife, Amanda, and 3 kids, Thomas, Lily, and Benjamin Gallus, who support everything that I do and have been heavily involved in the charity. And I thought, most likely to die in the second 40 years of my life than the first 40. So even though, I thought I'd done a good job as a teacher and as a parent, that I really wanted to create some positive change. And really, I was born in Fiji. My mum and dad were over there teaching English for a couple of years, and they're Australian, and we came to Melbourne in 1973. And I really wanted to make a difference for kids that are missing out. And again, we just discussed the power of sport, and Nelson Mandela is a great mentor and inspiration to me through what he did in his life and through what he said about sport. And I knew all I had to do was link up. I'd also commentated AFL. I also worked for the AFL Brisbane Lions as a recruiter for a couple of years part-time down here in Melbourne. And I worked for the National Indigenous radio service calling AFL, as well as K-Rock and SEN commercial stations, and Inner FM, one of the local community stations down here in Melbourne. So I knew a lot of people in football. And through Penley and Essendon Grammar School, I knew a lot of business people that I would, and I thought if I can link together all those good people, we can create opportunities, especially in remote Aboriginal communities across Australia. They love their sport. And, I lived it last year for 6 months in Nookumba Aboriginal community, and their sporting ability of the kids. I started a sporting program before school. We'd have half an hour, the whole school. We'd just go to the basketball court and play basketball, soccer, kick the AFL. We had grade 2 kids at half court. We had the ability to kick an AFL ball, the old AFL footy ball through the basketball hoop at half court, and they do it regularly. And then, and their ability in athletics is just extraordinary. And they miss out. Most of them, a lot of the remote communities I go to, they kick around plastic Coke bottles, and they don't have the ability just to have a ball or just to have someone come out there. And what I found, we've been running it for 12 years now, totally volunteer. And we've got a big shout out to all the Footy for All supporters and volunteers around Australia. We've got amazing base of people that understand sport, and everyone's involved in sport, aren't they, Hayden? Whether it's a sponsor, whether it's a supporter, whether it's a player at any age. So I drew on that, engagement and likeness for everyone. And we've had no state or federal or government funding. I've met just about every politician here in Victoria. I've met 2 prime ministers to ask them for help. And, sadly, they're just really not interested because no one's done this before and it doesn't tick any of their boxes. We've won awards in Victoria as the, Volunteer of the Year award from the Premier Daniel Andrews, which is great. But, it would have been great for, it's our taxpayers' money, so I don't understand how I still can't understand how we've never got any funding for these programs that we've run. And you just keep doing it. We've got great people out there. Nissan supported us with a Footys Royal car to drive around Victoria. TNT, or now FedEx, have been amazing in freighting all our equipment to remote areas. We link up with the way that the charity works. You link up with schools or other like-minded charities. Brian Curl in Brisbane does amazing work with Aboriginal kids in basketball. Ricky Baldwin here in Melbourne, up in the Northern Territory and WA, Fremantle community programs, and it's just extraordinary the work that is being done, and the impact that it makes when you go. It's not. I thought it was all about running a sporting clinic and teaching them about better health practices and nutrition, but it's actually for the people and the kids that someone has taken the time to believe that they warrant to come out and meet them and say hello. Basically, you're delivering. It's not a ball. It's hope. It's giving them hope that the conditions are so tough out there. You know, I lived out there for 6 months in the summer, and you know, the resilience that they need to continue on, and for some people to come out and say, okay, yeah, we know you love your sport. We're going to run a clinic, and then we're going to give you a ball to play with. You know, we're going to give you a ball that's yours. And, you know, that's extraordinary to some of these kids and some of these communities that you've gathered people together from around Australia to come out and say you're valued, you are important, and we're going to give you an opportunity through sport. And that's the impact. It's not the ball, it's not the clinic. It's that groups of Australians are working together to provide opportunities.